Alright, welcome back everybody. We've got another making video and I'm wondering if we're going to be stunned, dazed, or confused by this ball, but we are going to be looking at the new Storm Phase 4. Now, another phase ball. I mean, I don't think we've seen a bad phase ball, but let's kind of take a look at this first, and then we'll get into it. You know, purple, yellow, silver, not a bad looking ball, and it kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of an overseas lock that I tested. But almost the same color scheme. I think if I had both of these balls on the rack, I wouldn't know which one to pick up. But yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. So, what is unique about the Phase 4? I was thinking back. I guess the core at this point, we know the Velocity core. It's a great core. In my mind, it's a core that, it's a symmetric core that is probably the most asymmetric rolling type core, asymmetric rolling symmetric core, I guess, if that makes sense. Obviously, we've seen the original phase. I think it was kind of hit or miss for people. And then Phase 2 obviously is a huge hit. There's not much to say about that, right? So, that solid piece, it just, ideal strong control ball. Then the Phase 3, and the Phase 3 was an R3S hybrid. Now, what did they do with this one? They went R2S Pearl. Now, if you remember back in the original phase, there was, the reason why that was kind of a little hit or miss for people was people, I think, couldn't appreciate that Storm had developed almost a smooth control rolling pearl, and it didn't make sense to people. It was like, that's not how Storm balls roll. And I remember a lot of talk about that. But there was an overseas phase that had an R2S Pearl, and then it was a very similar, slight variation on the color. I guess like any international ball, if you want to spend the money, you can probably get it. And, well, as you can imagine, people enjoyed the R2S plus the Velocity. So, long story short is, finally, Storm decided to release the phase with an R2S Pearl on it. And if I go back to my original intro, it's like, are we kind of stunned, dazed, confused? I'm actually going to say, for me, all three. I'm not sure what to think yet. I guess, in a way, I'm really curious to see how different it's going to be from the Phase 3, because even though the Phase 3 was an R3S hybrid, when it's a a little stronger cover, meaning there's a little bit more texture underneath, but it still had the 1500 grit polish. Whenever you put that much surface, balls go long. Now, obviously, when you start taking the surface down, it's a different story. But I was also thinking, we just tested the Spectre. And the Spectre, when you look at the core specs, right, they're not that different, right? So this is like this ball, we got a 14-pound ball, it's a 253 RG 050 differential. The Spectre ball is really similar, kind of big core, on paper, the shape looks, some kind of minor details, but the specs are generally close enough. And you also had a clean cover, and that ball, I could even, and that was an R3S Pearl. And again, clean, gets down lane, and moves. And I mentioned in the Spectre review that ball is your sort of really quintessential Storm long and snappy shape. So you add R2S onto the Velocity core, and I'm kind of expecting something similar. So in a way, I think this ball is going to be stunning for a lot of people, and in another way, I'm kind of confused because on paper it seems like you're kind of competing against yourself. But I guess look, we'll have to take it out on the lanes and see, and then ultimately, the balls, can they wind up in the same arsenal? Are you just gonna, is Storm just giving you multiple options, and then you can kind of pick the sort of slight variation you prefer. But anyway, we're going to drill it up, see what it looks like. I think there's going to be excitement for another phase. So I think it's a smart marketing play from Storm, and but in terms of how it fits in your arsenal, I guess we're going to find out. So yeah, let's drill it up. Alright, so we'll clean this up after, but just want to show you the layout. We are doing a 5x40, pretty typical for me. So got your phase 4. Yeah, we'll be coming to the lanes shortly, and yeah, we'll see you soon.